Well, it's Sunday, and as tradition would have it, we'll be studying our Bible, and likely delving deeper than most believers will be today, including all those that are in church. Today, let's study the wonderfully enigmatic figure of Moses. I am in passage number 54, Mosaissism. We are in Exodus chapter 32, verses 9 through 14 in the New Living Translation. Then the Lord said, I have seen how stubborn and rebellious these people are. Now leave me alone so my fierce anger can blaze against them, and I will destroy them. Then I will make you, Moses, into a great nation. But Moses tried to pacify the Lord his God. O Lord, he said, why are you so angry with your own people whom you brought from the land of Egypt with such great power and such a strong hand? Why let the Egyptians say, their God rescued them with the evil intention of slaughtering them in the mountains and wiping them from the face of the earth? Turn away from your fierce anger. Change your mind about this terrible disaster you have threatened against your people. Remember your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You bound yourself with an oath to them, saying, I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars of heaven. And I will give them all of this land that I have promised to your descendants, and they will possess it forever. So the Lord changed his mind about the terrible disaster he had threatened to bring on his people. We will pass over the King James Version, for sake of brevity. The finger of God had just finished engraving the tablets, when suddenly all heaven was about to break loose. Thankfully, Moses is a master crisis negotiator and saves his people from the destroyer. We all can use a good therapist like Moses now and then, one that just so happens to be similarly skilled in cognitive behavioral therapy for gods, also known as CBTG. Oftentimes, root cause analysis will lead the therapist to a common diagnosis of intermittent explosive disorder of the gods, IEDG, which manifests itself in the form of impulsive outbursts of rage or aggression, resulting in the desiring of, or achieving of, mass murder. As in the case in the traditional IED, the same applies for that of the gods, and that the episodes are out of proportion to the situation that triggered them. In the case of our passage, this trigger would be a golden calf that Aaron and the Israelites made from melted earrings. To make things worse, they declare, O Israel, these are the gods who brought you out of the land of Egypt. In dealing with this particular deity of the Bible, in whom the authors have already embarrassingly intertwined with numerous clinical psychoses, such as those covered in prior segments, divine insecurity illness, and divine paranoia, one must understand the severe trauma it places on the fragile self-esteem of the deity when discrediting any conquests. Of all accomplishments this grand wizard of decimation is most proud of is his intervention and deliverance of his people from Egyptian bondage. The exhaustingly redundant reminder of I, the God, or He, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the land of slavery, appears 125 times in the Old Testament and is certainly off limits for any other gods to lay claim. Allow me to pose an extraordinarily heretical hypothetical that many may find entirely unfathomable. Let's imagine this very warm and redeeming story is simply an all-out fabrication and myth. Imagine that. This, of course, finds Moses, our heroic negotiator, in the unfortunate state of also requiring urgent diagnosis and treatment. As the purported author of the books of Exodus among the other four of the Torah, what manner of psyche must one suffer when penning memoirs of not only speaking and negotiating with a god, but changing the mind of a god? Reconciling this with a shameless plug from Moses in the notorious Numbers chapter 12 verse 3 gets us one step closer in our assessment. It reads, Now Moses was very humble, more humble than any other person on earth. Narcissism? Nah, too trendy. And we're already overburdened with excessive similarities between the stories of Greek and ancient mythology and those of the Bible. Although a tinge of parallelism is tolerable, and thus we celebrate Moses as the progenitor of Mosaissism, classified as a highly delusional disorder for those in positions of power in which one claims exclusivity in communicating with a deity or supernatural being to the point of possessing influential power over said deity or supernatural being in order to advance ideologies of ethnocentrism to the members of its society. Fortunately for Moses, Moses likely never existed. Have a great week. Love you all. See you later.